Pathetic. That's the way I describe this Jets loss. They start the season 0-5 for the first time ever for a rookie head coach. Aaron Glenn now has something that no other Jets head coach has done in their first year with this franchise, believe it or not. Starting the season 0-5. Another pathetic performance from the Jets, 0-5. 37-22 to the Dallas Cowboys. It was not good. It was pretty. It wasn't pretty. It was ugly. I'll start off. I'm Ryan Sampson. This is the Gangs All Here Postgame Live Show. That's my guy, Frankie Vitoriti from U Stadium. I'll start off, Frankie. Your initial thoughts on that Jets pathetic loss to the Cowboys.
You know what, man? At the end of the day, you can say whatever you want. You can point out whatever you want about the team, about the coach, about the staff, whatever. They did not play hard today.
Nope.
That was the most concerning thing. That was the biggest problem today. Lack of effort. Screen passes to Ferguson that no one's pursuing on. They didn't want to stop Javonte Williams all day. Missed tackles left and right. Linebackers out of position. D-backs out of position. A defensive line that went up against an offensive line in Dallas that had 4 backups in. 4. We saw what happened against Tampa. They had 3 backups, so we couldn't get a sack there. We got 1 sack today. 1 sack. No real pressure all day. This Jets team did not play hard today. And that is the most concerning thing about this game. We're going to dive into all elements of it. We're going to talk about how the Sauce played, how Quinnen played, how everyone played. But the biggest concern today was the lack of effort across the board. You said it. The offensive line looked like they checked out. Brees, at a point, he checked out of the game. Nobody really wanted to play today. On the defensive side, guys aren't running to the football. Guys aren't finishing tackles. There's no real motivation, it looks like, from anyone on that sideline. No leadership. A very embarrassing performance. And we have said this, Ryan, now on this show. Shout outs to you, by the way. I hope you're doing well. Shout outs to the Post, everybody. You've said this, and we've said this how many times? They find ways to reach new lows. When you think it can't get any lower, it does. When you think you're at rock bottom, no, you're not. There's another 15 feet of rock bottom, and there might be another 50 feet of rock bottom. Every week, it seems like we find new ways to hit new lows, and this team is a train wreck. They're completely off the rails. I have no faith in what this coaching staff is doing on both sides of the football. I love Tanner Engstrand. I'm starting to question him a little bit too now. Steve Wilkes has been a catastrophe as a defensive coordinator. Should probably stop calling plays. Aaron Glenn, a defensive-minded head coach. This is the worst Jets defense I think I've ever seen, man. Seriously. It's the worst secondary I've ever seen. That I will tell you for certain.
All right, so before Frankie dives deep into his defense in the secondary, Frankie, we actually just got confirmation from what you and I were texting about before from Rich Cimini. He confirms what you had said to me before the broadcast. The Jets are the first team in the NFL history to have 0 takeaways in the first 5 games of a season to start it. That is another feat that they can be proud of as they start this season 0-5. People I've seen are killing the Jets online, social media, fans, the media. They're all killing them right now because this is not the product that we were promised. This is not something that he, quote unquote, said, I want fans to be proud of this team. That's my goal this season. Well, I can tell you for a fact, Aaron Glenn, no one, and I mean no one, on the field, on your roster, and anyone in the stadium or watching is proud of the product that you're putting on the field right now. No one. So that is on you, solely on you. As the head coach of this football team, you can own that. And I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. I don't want to hear any more moral victories. But your defense has had 0 takeaways, gave up a ton of yardage and horrible plays all game long. Aaron Gunn's team was ill-prepared and largely non-competitive, like Frankie said. So we'll start with the defense, Frankie. Again, tons of penalties, no turnovers, but the defense, I thought overall, again, horrible. How many missed tackles in the first half, Frankie, we saw? How many first half?
At least 8 to 10.
I believe it was 13 missed tackles.
Was it? I'm not surprised.
Half.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I saw Zach Rosenblatt, and I want to confirm this and give him credit from The Athletic that covers the Jets. The Jets defense in the first half, let me just go to this right here. I just want to confirm I had this. 13
That's
13 missed tackles in the
wild.
first half. That was Rich Cimini and Zach Rosenblatt confirming that per Next Gen Stats. 13 missed tackles in the first half. So let's talk about it, Frankie, the defense. Sauce Gardner gave up a huge touchdown to George Pickens in an ill-timed play in the second half to start off in the third quarter. The team turns the ball over offensively before the first half, and they give the ball back to the Cowboys. The Cowboys start with a bad penalty for illegal formation. They're at their own 4-yard line, right? Or 9-yard line, something like that. It's first and 15, and they drive 91 yards before halftime to score a touchdown to go up 20-3 before the first half. What the hell?
Oh, yeah. Man, that was when I thought it couldn't get any worse, man, from this defense. That drive where Javonte Williams has that 66-yard run, his career high, by the way, his long. By the way, Javonte Williams was a running back that nobody really wanted in the offseason. Someone that came over from Denver, had torn his ACL a few years ago, really never got off the ground with any team in workouts and stuff. He wasn't really impressing anybody. Dallas brought him in, looked like Earl Campbell today. And that Jets defense, they can't tackle anybody. They can't. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter at what level of depth. You could do it. You could talk about the line of scrimmage. You could talk about the second level, third level, 10th level. They're not making tackles. That drive that you're talking about was the epitome of what this Jets team is. Teams are literally looking at our defense and saying they're so bad, give us 40 seconds. Let's call timeouts. Give us time, please. They're not going to move the ball anyway. Keep giving us time. Give us more time because they're the easiest defense probably to score on in the AFC. So at this point, we can't stop a nosebleed. They have to figure out what they're going to do with Steve Wilkes, but they're missing tackles left and right, Ryan, all over the field. It is embarrassing. And for a team that prides themselves on defense, and for a unit where you have all pro players where we talk about, Sauce is an all-pro. Quinnen's an all-pro. Jamian Sherwood's going to be an all-pro. Get the hell out of here. None of these guys are all-pros. None of these guys are leaders. The head coach doesn't know what he's doing yet. The defensive coordinator has no idea what he's doing. This guy's calling man. We spoke about this last week. We spoke about this 2 weeks ago. We spoke about this 3 weeks ago. Stop running man. These guys cannot play man. Sauce cannot cover in man.
Nope.
Brandon Stevens can't cover in man or zone, but you're better off putting him in a zone coverage. Maybe you'll scheme it up correctly. These guys can't run with anyone. Tony Adams, Andre Sisco, Malachi Moore. These guys aren't running with anybody. They can't. They're not good enough to play man. Man is a high-risk, high-reward defense. If you have the players to run man, you can really stick guys, and there's no openings. You have to have quarterbacks throwing through really tight windows in man to get it to those players. Sauce isn't a physical enough corner to want to play man. You saw that play when George Pickens had that slant on third down. The ball's hanging right there.
How about that?
Third down.
Your highest paid player in the NFL in the cornerback position, Sauce Gardner, who got a monster deal before the season started, gives up another third down completion to George Pickens when you need a third down stop at the most in the first half. And then to start the second half, gives up a bomb of a touchdown to George Pickens, gets out physical like Frankie predicted in the pregame show, which you guys should all be paying attention to anyway on the New York Pro Sports YouTube channel. You want to talk about on the second play of a 2-play 53-yard drive, a 43-yard touchdown. The Jets were down 23-3. If they had any hope of being in this game, 23-3, because they go punt and then they turn it over on downs. They give the ball back to the Cowboys on the 47-yard line. And 2 plays later, Sauce is giving up a 43-yard bomb to George Pickens. If I'm paying you the most money in the NFL as a cornerback, as Sauce Gardner, you need to make those plays. You need to come up with third down stops. You need to be able to make sure that you're not giving up explosive plays that are 43-yard bombs to their number one wide receiver, especially when they're down CeeDee Lamb as an offense. And let's not forget what Frankie mentioned here at the beginning of this defensive discussion. This entire Cowboys offensive line was a backup offensive line. They were down 4 starters on their offensive line today. Frankie, they ended up with 1 sack for the Jets defense and 1 quarterback pressure, which was on that sack. Other than that, they had 0 pressures, 0 sacks.
The only pressure they had was on that sack?
On that sack.
That is, do you know how embarrassing that is?
You're talking about 4 offensive linemen out for the Cowboys. And this Jets defense was only missing Jermaine Johnson and Quincy Williams. They still had Quinnen, like you said. They still had Will McDonald, Michael Clemens. They had Mwaga. They had all the guys that they wanted to bring in today. And none of them were able to get pressure on Dak Prescott today to make him uncomfortable. This Jets defense can't tackle. They can't get pressure on the quarterback. And they can't stop him on third down. This is without a doubt the worst defense I have watched this Jets team put together in quite some time. It might be the worst. They don't do anything well, like Frankie highlighted again at the beginning of this show. No turnovers, no sacks, can't stop you on third down. What exactly are you doing well? So the heat is going to be turned up on Steve Wilks even further than what it has to the start of the season.
Ryan, there is no excuse for this defense being this bad. No excuse. Zero. You could talk about the Adam Gase days, how bad that defense was. You had excuses. They didn't have the talent really there. They had a bunch of new guys there. New system, new defensive coordinator that they just brought in. What's the excuse this year? What is he? You have Aaron Glenn, who was a defensive coordinator on one of the best teams in football. You have Steve Wilks, who's only been a defensive coordinator really his whole career, except being a head coach for a year, which he got ousted on. Took a team to the Super Bowl, actually, in San Francisco. He was a DC there. You have Sauce Gardner, you just made him the highest paid corner. You have Quinnen Williams, one of the highest paid defensive tackles, who people view around the league as being one of the best defensive tackles in football. You just paid Jamian Sherwood $45 million. You brought in this guy, Brandon Stevens. You paid him a bunch of money. Brought in Cisco. You got this Harrison Phillips kid. You got Will McDonald people love. What's the excuse?
I don't know.
What can they say right now? We could talk the offense, but we're talking defense. The offense has a bunch of excuses we can point to, and we will probably get into it. The defense does not have an excuse in the world.
Nope.
Sauce Gardner, there is no excuse, Quinnen Williams, for you guys to not be able to put together a defense that's able to create a turnover in 5 games. The Jets now, if they don't force a turnover, we're on 5 now, right? We're on 5. If they don't force a turnover next week, they would join only one team in NFL history since the merger in going 6 consecutive games without forcing a turnover.
So to go further, what Frankie's saying, and this might enrage him even further, Aaron Glenn speaking in the postgame, it's going to take time, fellas. That's the message he's going with. It's going to take time.
I don't want to hear that. You know what I want to hear?
It's going to take time. So,
of course it's going to. Yeah. It's taken us 15 years. It has taken time.
That's where Kaz is going to put. So that's where Kaz. But hang on, Frankie. That's where Kaz is going to push back on you and say that's the tough part when you're a rookie head coach taking over a team that has the stigma of 15 years not making the playoffs. Right? It's your first year as a coach. But what you are rightfully pissed off at, and what I am rightfully pissed off at, is that the on-field product has gotten considerably worse since week 1, not better. And that's something that you need to control as a head coach. So for him to say this takes time, that's a bunch of bullshit. Let's be honest. Aaron Glenn is bullshitting the media right now because he is running out of excuses for this team. And you cannot use time as an excuse. You cannot.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah. How much time? Someone should ask him. All right, how much time do you want? Is this a punt year? Because right now we're not going to make the playoffs, obviously. 0-5. No NFL team ever has started 0-5 and made the playoffs. Trust me, we're not the ones to break that record. So how much time? Did someone in the media ask? Hey, Aaron, how much time? Because you were talking about winning now. How much time? I don't know. And now he wants time. Originally, it's all about coming out hot, playing fast, winning football games, changing the culture. We're built for this, all this stuff. All right, built for what? I mean, to what you just said, they've gone worse since week 1. And you know what?
And the defense has gotten worse too, Frankie. And it's all-time bad right now. It's all-time bad. And you know what's funny is the Cowboys actually had a worse defense on the other side of the field. And let's talk about this Jets offense on the flip side. They put together a really good drive again to start the game, but they can't come away with a touchdown. That's a problem. Like Tanner Strayton seems to put together these really strong first drive plays, scripting it really well. They drive all the way down the field, but they can't capitalize and get the touchdown. So then you're wondering, okay, if they settle for the field goal, can they do this again? Can they have a consistent offensive performance from Justin Fields, this rushing attack, keep Garrett Wilson involved? Guess what? Garrett Wilson ended up with 2 targets throughout the first 3 quarters of the game, Frankie. They don't keep Garrett Wilson involved in the offense. Fields is sacked multiple times. I haven't seen this Jets offensive line look that bad since last year. They put together their worst performance to date. So the offense takes a massive step back again. And now you're wondering, what exactly is this Jets team going to do well this year?
Good point. And the most surprising thing with the offense, to what you're saying, Ryan, that offensive line giving up all those pressures to those Dallas pass rushers. I mean, I was looking at next gen stuff earlier in the week about Dallas's pass rush being one of the worst in football. They looked like the 2002 Ravens today out there, the 2002 Bucks, the 2000 Ravens. That's who they looked like. They looked like one of those defenses. They were all over the place. They were getting at Fields. Fields sacked 5 times. 5 times. Didn't really get anything going until garbage time again. So you look at Fields' numbers and you see he had 283 yards and you say, oh, he had a good game, right? He didn't have a good game. He didn't have a good game at all. When the defense is playing back and just allowing you to go underneath, yeah, you're going to tally up the numbers. That's just how it goes in garbage time. Now, the offense Breece Hall bringing up a line that he brought up. Oh, most teams shoot themselves in the foot, but we shoot ourselves in the head. You shot yourself in the head, or the team's in the head, when you fumbled, Breece, on that drive. I mean, that drive, and I hate playing this kind of game here because I see some Jet content people going there. Oh, it's 10-3. We're driving. Imagine if Breece doesn't fumble and it's 10-10. We say that every week
time
about every other thing. That's what bad teams do. Bad teams fumble when they could tie the game early in the first half. We don't. And,
spot on.
And we never do. We never do. So it's not like, yeah, if you're going to say, we're a game or two away, Ryan, from making the playoffs. We need to win one, and then we lose a game like that. Oh, it's unfortunate. It happened. It's bad luck. Luck never goes our way. No. There's no such thing as bad luck with the Jets. They're just bad. There's no bad luck. It's not like things are unfortunate. You don't have luck is an isolated moment. There's no consistency with luck. We're consistently bad.
And they consistently find these opportunities where if they take one step forward, they take 3 steps back, which is what you would mention about Breece, who has the killer fumble again before the first half. And you're like, dude, we're driving down the field. You're having so much success running the football. The Jets offensive line's running up and opening these lanes for you to hammer through. And he fumbles the ball at the worst time. And you're like, what the hell? And then, of course, the Cowboys go down the field and score a touchdown. That's the Jets season. And that's where I get really frustrated. And I'm really frustrated the fact that they don't get Garrett involved early and often. It was one play. He gets the ball on the first drive, Frankie, and then he doesn't get targeted again until probably the third quarter. He had 2 targets in the first half. What are they doing? What is the end game here? And it feels like there's a huge lack of explosives for this offense. It's just methodical. It feels like run, pass, run, pass. Like it's just, there's no rhythm to the offense besides that first drive. And I'm starting to get concerned about Tanner Engstrand. Are you just reading plays off the sheet and not have a feel for what the situation is and how this offense looks right now? And maybe your offensive line isn't protecting well. I saw a play in the third quarter where you're pulling John Simpson.
Crazy.
You're doing a play action pass. It's a long developing pass play. And you've seen your quarterback get sacked, I believe, 3 times up to this point, or 4. And you decide to pull your backside guard and have him try and block the edge rusher with a running back,
of which he didn't do it.
Of which he didn't do successfully.
Obviously, right.
So you're now regressing as an offensive line, which has me concerned because that was something you kind of were like, you know what? Maybe a little bit positive is the Jets offensive line is actually performing pretty solid and they're good in the run game, but now they can't protect their quarterback. Also, Justin Fields has the longest time to throw in the NFL. So now if we switch it to the quarterback side, right? That's not good when you have the longest time in the NFL from snap to throw. That's not a good sign.
That'll change today, by the way.
But that means no, he was holding onto the ball long today. That's why he kept
really. I'm curious to see. You could be right, but it looked like
I saw Connor Hughes. That number is only growing. He kept holding onto the ball, which means again, Justin's not processing the field. He's not processing the reads, and he's holding onto the ball too long, which means that this Jets offense is just stagnant because he's constantly either check down Charlie or I'm holding the ball too long and I'm taking the sack. Nothing is going right. The only thing that went right today is probably the run game, but they didn't run the ball enough because I don't think Fields ever had a read option today.
He did it.
I don't know. Like I can't keep getting frustrated with this team because this is them putting themselves in this situation and Aaron Glenn needs to be held responsible. I'm tired of watching the BS of it takes time and we practice well. You're falling into every trap of a rookie head coach that the Jets have ever had, and a defensive-minded head coach too, where you say it's not instant coffee. You have to give this time. You're saying it again in the postgame, another brutal loss. You're kind of showing signs of being in over your head, and then you're going to the faults of, well, we practiced and we had a really good practice week. That's not what we want to hear, man. That's not what Jets fans want to hear. We care about wins. And you're showing no signs of improvement, and you're showing no signs of a team that's going to win a football game this year, Frankie.
Yes, sir. Dude, beautifully said. I couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. And Aaron Glenn's falling into a trap, too, where he's being defensive now. He's not the initiator now. Now he's playing defense himself, right? He's trying to deflect and say, everyone calm down. It's going to take time. We're going to go brick by brick. This is a rebuild, etc. Even though he's not saying that, that is what he's saying, everybody, by the way. If you're not realizing that, everything he has said the last couple weeks is him portraying the word rebuild to everyone without saying it. It's like gaslighting everyone that it's a rebuild. But with that said, how much time? How much time is it going to take, Aaron? Because, again, he just spoke about that just a few moments ago. It's going to take more time. Well, people are saying, Anthony in the comments, shout outs to the comment gang, by the way, appreciate it, everyone out there. Yeah, he goes, let's be patient, Jeff fans.
Now he's saying Dan Campbell. No, he's not. He's being real, because he also saying Dan Campbell had 2 bad years to start. Let's be patient.
Listen, I'm going to say this. Anthony, and for everyone like Anthony out there, trust me, what Dan Campbell did is a very unique unicorn-like situation, of which he found one of the best offensive minds, and Ben Johnson just fell into his lap there. Do not, please.
He did fire his offensive coordinator after year 1, like Kaz talked about. They had Anthony Lynn.
Did. Yes, great point. You are correct there. So yes, maybe he had something to do with that. However, it's a very unique situation. If you have to go and compare a situation to an anomaly, you're already lost. There's a reason it's an anomaly. Nobody starts like Dan Campbell did and ends up really building a winner. It's rare. I'm not saying Aaron Glenn can't. I don't know. What the hell do I know? But it's very unlikely. It's the other side's a lot more likely that it kind of flakes out. But getting back to the offense for a second, Ryan, you're 100% right about this offense, and I don't think this offense fits what Justin Fields does best. I think Justin Fields is a big play quarterback, and it's about almost less volume offensively than it is more. I think the more you put him out there without the big plays, I think the more potential you have to not move the chains or put your team in a position where you could, create a turnover or get sacked. So I think Justin Fields or Tanner Engstrom, one of the two, has to really understand what they want to do. And I think it's probably more on Tanner, because Justin Fields is who he is. Tanner, Justin Fields is not Jared Goff. And if you think you're going to go through like these 12 to 15 play scripts of methodically hitting receivers and tight ends and backs across the middle and doing a slow and steady approach where you're not taking shots down the field, Justin Fields isn't the right guy for that. With that being said, it's a 1-year experiment. So at this point, I really don't care, to be completely frank. I don't like, if he wants to do it, do it. If he doesn't want to do it, whatever. I mean, I'm not thinking that Fields is the quarterback of the future. They tried him out. We're here at 0-5, and it is what it is. We can't really, go too crazy about it. I mean, what are we going to do? But I like Tanner Engstrand. I do think, though, what you said is true. I do think he's too much of a call it off the play sheet versus feeling it out. You saw that 4th down, which Justin Fields killed. Did you see that? Because the defensive ends lined up inside shade of the tackle. He loops out. Great defensive call by Eberflus, Cowboys defensive coordinator, to do that, because that sort of tricked Justin Fields. But hey, you're right, though. There's a reason this team struggles in 4th and shorts, 3rd and shorts.
How about that play call on 4th and short?
Which one? Sorry.
The one, I believe, was in the 3rd quarter. It was 4th and 1. And we both go, and they run Fields out to the left, and he's jump passing.
Oh yeah. That was the play, I think.
So
yeah. And he had another. I mean, that's a play you call when you don't call that play in that spot. Like, that's a play that the defense is almost waiting for you to call because they know that Justin Fields is really good outside the numbers, but you don't call that there. But it was also a kill, so I don't know what the original play. I think they wanted to run the
We
ball
don't know
there.
what the original play
Yeah.
call is, and he's trying to throw a pass to the fullback and Beck.
Yeah.
And the other time when the turnover and downs later in the game, two drives later or 3 drives later, he delays running up the middle, and the offensive line gets a great push, and he goes to the left.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what are you doing? You're QB
right.
sneak.
Yes.
Go right up the middle. I don't understand how there's so much confusion here on executing these plays. A couple more comments from Aaron Glenn after the game, Frankie. He said, on getting more involved with defensive play calling, considering the struggles. He said the Lions defense, again, we're going back to the Lions again.
Please.
He said the Lions defense struggled in 2021, and Dan Campbell stuck by him. And Glenn said he's sticking by Steve Wilkes. He also said, we are all in this together, and that starts with me. It's going to take time, fellas. Pointed out again that he talked to Tony Dungy earlier in the week and said he's not giving up. He's highly disappointed, and said after the Breece Hall fumble, it seemed like everything went downhill. Said it felt like the wind was let out after that, and he
said that.
Yeah, and he says that he puts that on himself, that the team lost their mojo pretty much after the Breece Hall fumble, which is sad again because this is the two weeks in a row it happened now, with last week with the Braylon Allen fumble and then this week with the Breece Hall fumble, that your team just seems to fall apart here, motivational wise and just morale wise.
I want to go off right now. I'm not going to. Those comments is the exact opposite of what it means to hold your team accountable. Those comments are, when you look in anything, a dictionary, what's the opposite word of accountable? What is it? The antithesis? Well, antonym, excuse me, I'm an idiot. The antonym of accountability are those comments. You don't want to blame your coach. You don't want to blame the player. You don't want to put anyone really accountable. You don't want to really take the heat. You want to bring up the Lions because that's a great example for you in like a case study for you. Again, an anomaly. And then you want to talk about Tony Dungy. You know why he wants to talk about Tony Dungy? Because Tony Dungy, when he started his coaching career, I think started 0-5 in Tampa. So, I mean, that's great. Again, the chance that a coach, everything's an anomaly. The chance you're going to be Tony Dungy, I don't think so, man. I don't see it. But you could bring all this stuff up. Again, this is gaslighting. Do you see that? And I hate using that word, but this is literally what it is. It's all these buzzword Lions, Tony
He is gaslighting
Dungy,
us as fans. Yeah, because he talked to Tony Dungy about Bill Parcells.
Exactly.
And Bill Belichick and all these coaches that are all-time greats, Bill Walsh, who had their first seasons be really bad. And Bill Parcells was nearly fired with a 3-13 season to start off his NFL career. We get it. I get it. But this is where I fall short of listening and agreeing with you and being gaslight by you. He also said, I'm going to embrace this challenge just like any other challenge. We're going to figure out as a team, and now we're going to get out of this hole. Look, this is the worst. When I mean the worst football team I have ever watched in New York Jets franchise history. I wasn't really a fan when Rich Kotite was the coach of the Jets because I was probably 2 years old. So I didn't understand that time, right? I didn't get it. But this, as a fan at 33 years old, is the worst football team I have ever watched the New York Jets put together in terms of being together, putting effort in, schematic wise, Frankie, and purely just the on-field execution. It's the worst. I've never seen a team that's so bad at tackling, so bad at pursuit, so bad at protecting its quarterback, so bad at getting open and separating downfield, so bad at drawing up plays and timely execution, and so bad overall that the leader of this team is falling into every first-time head coach trap in terms of what his messaging is to the franchise and to the fans. He's falling into every one of them. So I can't defend him any further. All I can do is hold his feet to the fire and say, you're doing a terrible job as a head coach right now. And you're in over your head. I've said it before this week. I said it to you off camera. This is a coach who's clearly in over his head. And right now deserves every piece of criticism that's going to get thrown his way because he asked for it. And he's the one that preached to us to say, this is a product I want Jets fans to be proud of. There is no one, and I'll say it again, no one that is proud of this product. And you clearly are in over your head as a head coach right now.
Well said, Bri. The other thing we have to consider too is Aaron Glenn came in here and Woody Johnson gave him all the keys.
Yep.
He's the CEO, right? So not only is Aaron Glenn responsible for the lack of tackling, another game with 10 penalties, well, only 61 yards. I was shocked. I even texted you. I'm like, see, we had 11 penalties for 91 yards. Like, no, Frankie, that's Dallas. I was like, oh, wow, that's incredible. That's usually what we look like. 10 penalties again. Team can't score points. Team can't stop opposing offenses that have above average quarterback play. We're forcing no turnovers. Outside of all that stuff that falls on Aaron Glenn, lack of effort on the field, Aaron Glenn's also responsible for the offseason moves. I'm not going to get into the offseason.
Nope.
But how many of these guys that we saw that Aaron Glenn wanted, Brandon Stevens, who's actually okay.
Played better today, but then again, it's just...
Yeah, Cisco. This draft looks bad.
Stop, you're doing it. You're falling to the trap. Talk about the on the field. Talk about the on the field, Frankie. What about on the field?
All right.
What about on the field is making you angry right now as you're watching Aaron Glenn's product?
All right, Malachi Moore, for example. I don't see it. This 5th-round linebacker, Mawaga. How do you say his name?
Yeah, Mayawaga.
Mayawaga, yeah. Kiko, I don't see it.
Yep.
Barnes, I don't see it. I don't see it. Mason Taylor looks fine. Looks good. Membu looks good, but you know how many teams have drafted a guy at the value wise of Mason Taylor. You gotta bring in players that on a game like today are gonna change the game, and that's why I was a little bit hesitant of paying Sauce, of keeping some of these guys around. Like there's something rotten in that core, and it reminds me a lot of what happened this year with the Mets. A lot of great players on paper have good tools, but they don't have the leadership. They don't have the dog. They don't have the fight. They don't have what it takes inside to be great, to make a team great. And I think the Jets have too many players just like that. Sauce, all the tools, doesn't really do it. Doesn't really have it. Even Quinnen to a degree, one of the top D tackles in terms of tools. Today, nothing. I mean, how many sacks is he going to end up with this year?
I don't know, man. It's not.
How many does he have? He has what, 1.5? I think
so.
Come on, man. You know, they got to do more. They
got to do more. I mean, look, you played a Cowboys team that was reeling. They're 1-2-1 heading into this week. They had the worst statistical defense in the NFL. You should have feasted on this defense. This Cowboys defense was giving up 33 points a game, Frankie.
Crazy.
And the Jets mustered 22 because they gave up in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys defense, they played prevent defense. They let you walk in for a touchdown at the end. This game shouldn't even been that close. It should have been 37 to probably 15 or 13 or whatever the frig the score was. They take the 8 points away.
I know.
It should have been 37-14. That's what the score should have been today.
Yeah.
Like you got destroyed on your home field. You couldn't do anything offensively. You got shut down by a defense that was historically bad the first 4 weeks of the season. They were giving up yardage. They were a tissue paper defense, and your offense couldn't muster more than 14 points in reality. In reality, don't fall into these narratives that the coaches like to preach during the week. Well, look at the tape. We got guys open. We're getting plenty of yards. We're scoring 20-plus points a game. You're scoring 20 points plus game because you're falling into the trap of your own narrative of we're getting blown out. And it's not even close in these games. And morale-wise, the opposing team is giving up and they're taking their foot off the gas 3 weeks in a row. The Bucs, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins all gave up in the fourth quarter against you. And they let you check it down multiple times to do something offensively. So that's where I hate that they're gaslighting us as fans. And they're trying to gaslight us because they think we're stupid.
Yep.
I'm not stupid. I watched the game. I watched the film afterwards. This is not a good product. It's the worst product I've ever watched. It's worse than the Adam Gase years. You want to know why? Because this team was not bad talent-wise like the Adam Gase one was. That was a bad team. That was a bad football team. But this team has quote-unquote all pros that aren't performing, that are putting out pathetic performances that your coach is just admitting again to the media that the win got not taken out of them after the Breece Hall fumble. That's ridiculous, dude. In a one-score game, you're already falling into that trap. It was 10-3.
Ryan, you literally went exactly to where I was going to go. I have never seen a team where after a fumble like that Breece Hall fumble, they go 91 yards, Dallas, with 2:18 left in the second quarter, right? The half's about 2 minutes. They do a 2-minute drill. They go down the field, 7 plays, 91 yards. Dallas scores, right? We get the ball back, right? We go after that, right? Dallas scores. We punt. We have 2 yards on 3 plays. Take up 28 seconds. They use their timeouts. Shocker. They get the ball back. And you're like, oh, come on. Like, they're going to have to do, I texted you, it's going to have to be a heave to George Pickens. It's going to have to be something in the passing game. They're probably going to play for a field goal. They'd be lucky to get a field goal. Maybe it's going to be, they were talking about on the broadcast, Aubrey's got to kick one of those, 64-yarders that he can make. What do? They run the ball with Javonte Williams.
How about that?
No, excuse me. It was, how many plays was it?
It was
it was one play.
It was one play. Javonte Williams has a 66-yard touchdown. Not touchdown, 66-yard run.
Yes,
they're at their own 33-yard line.
Dude, insane.
Think about that. You punted the ball because you had this is so funny. This is so friggin' funny right now.
Dude, I was cracking up.
So Fields has the
laughing. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no, Fields has the income. So mind you, there was a penalty on the Jets on the holding on the return after you just gave up a 91-yard touchdown drive. So you get the ball back with 57 seconds left. They have an incomplete pass to Davis. He gets sacked on the next play, right? And then he scrambles to the right for 9 yards, and you punt. So it's 3rd and 17, and you punt on 4th and 8. There is 36 seconds left. You should not be giving up a score here. It is 17-3 after you just had the brutal Breece Hall fumble and 91-yard drive by the Cowboys. They run the ball to Javonte, and he breaks off a 66-yard run, which sets them up 1st and goal at the Jets' friggin' 1-yard line. And then they just score the touchdown. 2-yard line. Whatever. And then you want to also talk about this defense even further. They give up a 33-yard, correct me if I'm wrong, if it was 33 yards. I believe it was 33 yards. A tight end slip screen pass for a touchdown. A tight end slip screen pass.
With nobody within
26 yards, Frankie.
Feet of the guy.
26 yards. A tight end slip screen pass for a touchdown to a tight end. That's unheard of. I saw the stat, Frankie, before the game. The Jets are the worst in the NFL in terms of giving up yards after the catch and yards after contact, which goes even further to the point. What the hell are you doing on defense? I just don't understand how you can be this bad defensively. You're paying these guys a lot of money. A lot of money. Jamie Sherwood, where are you? Sauce Gardner, where are you? Quentin Williams, where are you? Will McDonald, 1st-round pick, where are you? Where is this defense? Where is the moral fight in this team? It's gone, Frankie. That's the sad part. It's 5 weeks into the season, and this team has been beaten down. And guess what? It's not getting any easier. They're going to London to get their asses kicked by the Broncos.
You know what else is sad? I'm looking today. I'm watching the game, right? I see this player, 19 on the Cowboys. Kind of knew who he was, but not really. I go, that's that Flurney kid, right? I had remembered him from last year. The dude looks like Justin Jefferson today. Ryan Flurney last year, right, was a 6th-round pick by Dallas, right? He played last year. He had 102 yards receiving on the year. Played in 11 games, had 102 yards on the whole year. Ryan Flurney today. Ryan Flurney. Nobody knows who Ryan Flurney is. Nobody. I don't know if Dallas fans know who he is. Has a 46-yarder today. Has 6 catches for 114 yards. Are you effing kidding me?
You're a defensive coach. How are you going to keep your job? Like, honestly, Steve Wilkes aside, Aaron Glenn, you are a defensive head coach. How are you going to be proud of this product that you're putting on the field? How? How can you defend it? Stop saying it takes time. Defense is supposed to be ahead of the offense when the season starts. So that's where I question everything that's going on. He's giving off vibes right now, Frankie. The vibe is off, by the way. That's why I'm saying this is the worst Jets team ever. The vibe is completely off. He's giving off vibes that are Joe Judge-esque from the Giants. He's giving off, I'm the tough guy, played in the NFL. I played with Bill Parcells. I played under Bill Parcells. He's my mentor, and that's how we're going to coach this football team. That, to me, is a huge red flag right now, what's going on with this Jets football team.
It's a sad state of affairs there. Now, I don't know what the next step is. I don't know how they prepare for Denver or what they're going to try to do. Fans have checked out. I think this was the game that sort of could be the straw that broke the fandom's back, because you're statistically out of the playoffs for all intents and purposes. I mean, it's literally no team's ever done it at 0-5. You're looking at a drought that's going to hit 15 years, which is the longest in North American sports. Where do you go from here? What do you do? I don't know. I don't have any answers. To be honest.
I don't have either.
I don't know if you want to root for them to win because you're a fan. We're all fans. If you want to root for them to lose because you want this thing to like burn to the ground, I understand that too. I'm not going to judge you for it. I don't care. I don't. Fans are saying they're going to hate watch. Go and hate watch. Whatever. That's your right. I'm not going to tell you how to fan. I'm not. But at this point, looking at the game today, man. It was just, you can't get blown out at home after getting your asses blown out to a degree by Miami. And then the week before.
Pause.
Yeah, pause. I'm usually good. I usually pause myself. That was good, Ryan. That was good. But, come on, man. Like, this is becoming like, I'm laughing. I'm laughing, and I hate saying it, Jeff. And I love you all. One of the greatest fan bases in sports. I'll be completely honest.
We're beaten down, though.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I know how great those fan bases are. Man, Jet fans, they're different. They're more passionate. They care more. But you have a bunch of Jet fans right now, Ryan. They don't want to go to the game. We have fans in the comments. Shout out to the comment gang. They're done. They're done. They're season tickets. They don't want to re-up them, and that's another issue that the Jets are going to have to fall into in the offseason. Fans going to London regretting planning that trip. If you're going to London, just enjoy London. I've never been there, but go out, have some fish and chips, go have some pints, go hang out with the locals. Forget about the team. Go enjoy it. Make it a trip to see the city more than to see the Jets. That would be my advice.
This is, like I said, this is the worst Jets football team I've ever seen in my life. This is the worst Jets franchise. The worst the franchise has ever been, in my opinion. And this just culminates pretty much what this season is. I didn't see a rebuild coming like this. I think that's what's frustrating, and I don't think a lot of fans saw a rebuild like this coming. You did, Frankie. I'll give you credit there. But I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Did not think it was going to be this bad. They've taken a monster step back from year over year, even under a regime change. I cannot believe how bad these players that you were counting on that you think were so talented have taken such a big step back. And that includes Sauce Gardner. I can't believe how bad he's been and how bad he continues to play. His quote on the Pickens touchdown was in the postgame, busted coverage. That's one way to put it.
Wait, what?
Yep, busted coverage.
How is it? Hold on. I'm not going to go too deep right now because I want to look at the all-22 and they should know what they were running. Sauce, are you saying busted coverage because what? You were supposed to have safety help? Sauce, you were right there. What busted coverage? Were you in a cover 2 and you had the safety there? Someone should ask him, again, not ripping the media. Kaz is great. We do preview shows with Kaz. He's excellent. You will learn a lot from that guy, and he's great asking questions in the post games. Is someone going to ask him? Can somebody? What do you mean? What coverage were you in? Right? Because you were right there. What busted coverage doesn't mean you end up on the ground in the end zone a foot away from the guy that just scored on you. That's typically not what busted coverage is. Maybe he was covering for the safety. Maybe. I highly doubt it, but I also don't know if he's going to lie and say it's busted coverage. These players, man, and these coaches too, this team's just filled with excuses. They are just filled. And I'm telling you, I am just sick of it. I know you're sick of it. I know the fans are sick of it. What kind of busted coverage? What are you talking about?
I don't know. He says it's really
man, wasn't it? Was it not man?
It looked like he was man on man on him. He talked further about the processes the Jets are going through right now. He says it's really tough to pinpoint what it really is. I can't process it all. He says, I don't know what it is. Like I told you, this has been keeping me up at night. And we went back out there and we didn't do what we were supposed to in the Jets defense at the end of the first half. I don't know, man. Like part of me also feels guilty. Part of me feels bad for Brees, Sauce, and Garrett because they've been part of so much losing. And I was hoping that they could finally actually be competitive in these games. But to be frank, it's continued to get worse. And that's what's sad. And these guys are going to be part of this, where the team just continues to tumble and just fall down on itself. And it just, yeah, man, I have no other words. This is going to be tough, Frankie, for the rest of the season. Radsu, what is this comment? Nah, y'all enjoy talking crap about the team. I can see the smirk as y'all recap pathetic. You know why we're laughing and smirking? I mean, it's because it's so pathetic, because it's so frustrating for us to watch. Frankie and I don't enjoy this at all. I don't enjoy this.
At what point, too, are we gonna? What's the quote there? If I can't laugh, I'll cry. You know, it's like I'm not
crying about this.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, it is. We've seen this for how long? Yeah, I'm smirking. I absolutely am. I think it's hilarious to a degree. I do. Fans, every other fan base is laughing at us. I'm laughing. Yeah. It's very, very entertaining. It is. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna emotionally invest. And I'm kind of saying that sarcastically, but I'm not going to emotionally invest so much. Oh my God, I'm so mad. Like, mad about what? They got their asses kicked, and they got their asses kicked last week and the week before and the week before that. And they're going to get their ass kicked next week and the following week. So what am I going to like? It's like trying to root for like a turtle to beat like Usain Bolt in a race. It's I'm not going to put a lot of energy into it. I'm not going to, because it's not reality. This team is, like Ryan said, the fact that we are one of the lowest graded franchises in football, and you're saying this is the worst team you've ever seen. What do you want the guy to do? What do you want me to do? Yeah, I'm smirking a little bit.
It doesn't get any lower than this, Frankie. We're doing things that never happened for. They're 0-5 for the first time with a rookie head coach. They're the first team in franchise history to never create a turnover and go 0-5 to start a season. Think about that. For all you fans that are commenting on this, think about what they're doing right now. Those are things that have never been done in the NFL. That's new lows. And for this to say, well, you guys are smirking during the postgame, I don't know how else to react to this. This Jets team doesn't put a product out there for us to be positive about. There's no positives in this game. I wanted to be positive about the run game, but you know what? Breece Hall fumbled the ball on a run play. That was really good. Fields wasn't used in the read option at all. That's on Tanner Engstrand. Offensive line couldn't hold up in pass protection. Why? Why are we getting worse as an offensive line? Again, the defense, 13 missed tackles in the first half. That's astonishingly bad.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
You want to, if you see 5 or 6, that's alarming. You're talking about more than double that amount. And I'll say this, the offensive line, I really want to know what happened today because they did not look good. Nobody did. I don't know whose fault that is. If you want to look a little deeper into it and analyze it, I think Josh Myers as the starting center, I think he's struggling in calling the proper pass protections. I am just assuming that. I don't know that at all. I'm just thinking that because I know last year in Green Bay, they didn't like how Josh Myers was calling some of those protections up front. I'm wondering, and he was basically one of the lowest graded centers on PFF. That's a big part of playing center. When you see an offensive line just that out of sync all game, that nobody seems like they're on the same page, and you really have just like free rushers going at your quarterback, that points to me it's got some responsibility is on the quarterback, obviously, but also a lot of it's also in the center. The quarterback and center are hand in hand in figuring out where to slide protections or where the free blitzers or what plays to audible to. So that's a little bit alarming. So I hate saying this. I almost hope it's on Myers a little bit because the last thing you want to, face, look in the mirror and face the reality is that, Olu is not some, trending up, top 15 left tackle because he looked bad today.
He did look bad today. I think Simpson looked bad, like you said, Frankie. And I think Olu, I think he's progressively gotten better. Today was not a good day for him.
Took a step back.
One
step back. Last week he took a step forward. Today, step back. The week before that was a step back. He seems to be like every other game.
But you know what? I've seen a lot worse left tackles in the game, and I think again there's more to it. I think the quarterback holds onto the ball too long, which is again Fields does not process defense as well. He doesn't get to his reads quick enough, and I have to leave the question, and I want to ask this to Kaz tomorrow. Why are we not targeting Garrett Wilson more than twice in the first half?
I don't think they can.
Someone's got to answer that to me. No,
I don't know. I don't think
that's ridiculous.
Ryan, I don't think the scheme, I don't think they trust Fields throwing the ball down the field. I think they're putting a lot of coverage his way. I mean, they can, but I think if they do, they're going to turn the ball over. Sorry to cut you off, but I don't think I don't know. I don't know if the volume's there.
Respectfully, I disagree. There's multiple ways to scheme up your number one wide receiver offensively. The Lions, you want to keep you as a franchise want to keep quoting what the Lions did because that's what Aaron Glenn, quote unquote, wants to keep doing. Amon-Ra St. Brown has always been a focal part of the offense. Always. Has always gotten his touches. They've schemed him up in run pet in the run game, throwing the ball. He's caught a ton of passes, screen passes. They've used him in any kind of way you can for a number one wide receiver.
That's true.
You should be able to do the same thing with Garrett Wilson, and he's a good separator.
So but is Justin Fields handcuffing your offense? That's the question.
That's the question, and that's where I question the Justin Fields decision in the offseason again. You kind of knew what his faults were when you signed him, and those are all still coming to fruition. The fact that he's 0-20 something when the team is down 21 points, right, Frankie? Or the offense, the other opposing team scores 21 points. His record is 0-30 or some crap like that. 0-20.
I think 0-26 now when a team scores 21 or more points.
That's insane.
I'll say this. It's alarming overall when you're playing Dallas. Dallas looked really good today, by the way. They're a good football team. They don't have a lot of talent necessarily because they're dealing with injuries and whatnot, and they lost Micah. So obviously, changes things up front for them. But I mean, Dante Fowler looked better to almost than Micah today. But regardless, they're 1-2-1. They outplay you 4 quarters. Week before, the team we played is 0-3. They basically outplay you for 4 quarters. The week before that, we were outplayed every quarter. Tampa, we were outplayed basically every quarter besides maybe the 4th. Pittsburgh, if you take how many quarters of football, right? We're 0-5 times 4 is 20. We've had 20 quarters of football. We've been outplayed in 17 of them, 18. Yeah. That's what's alarming, right? Fans want to talk about, it's unfortunate what happened with Xavier Gibson in week 1 and with Michael Clemens' penalty against Buffalo and with, today with Breece's fumble and the week before with Braylon Allen's fumble. Yes, but that's what bad teams do. And if you're constantly getting beat every quarter, it's not like we've won out of 20 quarters. We've outplayed them. We've outplayed them in 8 or 10 quarters. Man, we've gotten outplayed in every quarter this year. So it sucks those plays, but it's not bad luck. It's bad football.
It's bad football. And it starts with the coach. It starts with the head coach, guys. Keep it real. Aaron Glenn deserves all the criticism right now. And I am not proud of this team. I think this franchise is going down the toilet fast right now. And they're the laughingstock, like Frankie said, and they continue to prove. I mean, Greg Olsen was laughing at them on the broadcast today. And I laughed when he says the defense has good plays. And it's like, what are you talking about? They don't play well together at all. They don't pursue the ball well. Jamien Sherwood looks lost in this defensive scheme. Steve Wilkes is drawing up plays that don't make sense. I saw a 3rd down play, Frankie, where they're dropping Will McDonald in coverage and a cover 0 blitz, and Sauce is one-on-one with Pickens. And if he catches that ball, which you would expect because Sauce has been terrible, he's gone. He's housing it for 70 yards and a touchdown. So none of this makes sense. It doesn't really, it's not a good defense. It's not a good football team. It's not a good offense. They don't do anything well. I'm not giving them flowers today. I know Frankie's not giving them flowers today. I'm not even going to ask him to try and attempt that.
I want to give flowers. I like giving flowers.
Nope, not today.
All right, no flowers.
Not today.
Right. You're the host. You're the host. Okay.
They've done something that never been done before in Jets franchise history. I don't think anyone deserves flowers today. Do you?
No, I don't. No. All jokes aside, nobody deserves flowers today. We give flowers after every show. We're not giving any flowers today.
No. The effort was poor today. Let's say that.
That's that's what we need to talk about, I think, more than anything, because you can talk about scheme, and we're always out schemed, especially our defense is always being out schemed by the offense. That's fixable to a degree. You can get a new DC. Aaron Glenn can overlook play calls with Wilkes, although I don't even know if that would help. But you can fix that stuff. You can fix players too. If you need a guy in a safety that can cover that back half, and these guys can't, you can do that. You can run more cover 2 and get that safety in. The issue is the lack of effort.
Yeah.
That is the biggest issue, because Aaron Glenn is all about energy and pride. And we're built for this, and we're the new New York Jets, and it's not the same old Jets, and we're going to play hard, and we'll only lose because, we didn't have the ball at the end of the game and they did first. We're going to go for it on 4th and 1. What Dan Campbell's doing in Detroit, that's what he wanted to bring here. The lack of effort, man, is alarming. And Aaron Glenn, if you're watching this, probably not, but if you are, shout outs. We had we have 350 in the stream or something. That's cool on YouTube. Shout outs to people on YouTube. You know what the problem that Aaron Glenn's going to have to face tonight, because he has a problem on his hands? These players aren't playing for you. They're not playing hard for you. That's your problem. That's a big problem, because once you lose the effort, and you lose the effort, you lose the players. You lose the players, you lose the season. You lose the season, you're going to lose your job. That's the problem. You can fix Steve Wilkes. You can bring in somebody else. Teams have changed defensive coordinators and gotten better. It's more unlikely, though, or it's not very common that you're able to change a player's energy level and effort level. That sticks, and it doesn't go away for a good amount of time, especially on a team that is going to be 1-8 at a point this year. What kind of effort are you going to get? And he's going to need it for his job. So I hear a lot of fans online. Last thing I'll say about Glenn, I hear a lot of fans online talking about fire Glenn already and all this stuff. Listen, it's not happening this year, so I don't even think it's probably not happening in the offseason.
Yeah, fans got to fans got to understand.
It is what it is. It's not happening. Kaz brought it up on our preview show. A nice little tidbit that Kaz brought up, how he doesn't know this for a fact, but it seems like Aaron Glenn's getting paid a ton of money. And I'm not surprised, given the fact that he is running the team in all regards. He has all the keys. He's a CEO. It's not like Saleh, who came in as a defensive-minded head coach, and Douglas was running the operation as a GM. Aaron Glenn is the assistant GM, or GM, and Muji's the assistant, and he's the head coach.
He's the
that
CEO,
is responsible,
like
for the defense and the offense. He's
the CEO.
Yeah. So with inflation and with prices, he's probably getting paid more than double what Saleh was getting paid, which was around $5-6 million. He's probably getting 14.
We don't know.
Million.
We don't know the amount. You can't speculate on like that, Frankie. You can't speculate on a number.
Well, with that thing, he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. We know it's a lot. That's what Frankie said. And to be frank, Glenn's not going anywhere this year, guys. No matter how bad this is going to get, and it's going to get worse. Trust me, it's not getting any better.
Can it get worse than it is today? I don't.
Well, my favorite part is
this is rock bottom.
Well, no. Frankie said, like Kaz said, the schedule lightens up. They're playing the Bengals in a couple weeks and the Panthers in a couple weeks. The Panthers just beat the Dolphins at home. Panthers aren't walkovers like everyone thinks they are, and people need to start realizing the Jets are the walkover. That's the problem. They are the worst team in the NFL. By far. It's not even close. The Titans are going through it with a rookie quarterback. You got to give that time. Right now, what's going on with this Jets football team, they're the worst in the NFL. Point blank. And that's what we're going to end the show.
Where right now, I think we're
number 1 and 10 get downs because the Titans are playing right now. We can't again, we have to wait to see what happens after this week.
Oh, no. I'm not going on Tankathon. I was actually just trying to go off. But the Saints won, right?
Yes.
And the
Saints are competitive.
Dolphins won 2 games, actually.
Saints are competitive. Saints actually compete in games. The farce that is this season and the falsehood that we believed in was week 1 was actually the real Jets team, and they were going to be competitive every game. That's actually the false narrative that got built. And really what this team is, last week, the Dolphins and the week against the Bills, they're just not in these games, and they're not competitive in these games. And the fact that, again, you got dog walked by a defense that could not stop a nosebleed in the Cowboys, and you couldn't get anything going offensively, is a joke. And the fact that you couldn't stop, again, your defense could not come up with a key stop and couldn't create another turnover, is a joke. And you as a coach are a joke right now. That's where I'm going to leave it. That's the Gangzone here post-game live show. The Jets get embarrassed again by the Cowboys, 37-22. He's Frankie Vittorini from U Stadium. I'm Ryan Sampson. Hit that like and subscribe button on the New York Post Sports YouTube channel. Believe it or not, I have to come back on here again and talk about this disgraceful Yankees performance right now. They're down 5-0 in the 4th inning. Max Fried just got pulled. It's not good, guys. New York sports are in crumbles right now. It's bad. But that's a show. We'll catch you guys next week. We do this every week. Unfortunately, right now, it's not looking great for this Jets season. And yeah, we'll catch you next week.